The following video was recorded by a woman who owns property in the Appalachian Mountains. 200 acres of dense forest, a gravel driveway, a pond, and, as she would eventually discover, an unmarked cemetery sitting quietly on the land. She'd been checking her security cameras periodically, the way most people do, just to see what passes through. She wasn't looking for anything unusual, but what she found when she reviewed the footage changed the way she thinks about the property entirely. Watch.
When we found out that there was a cemetery on the property, every time I get there, I walk up by myself and I say a prayer. After that, once I came back home and checked the camera, this is what I saw. I wasn't really sure what it was. I'm like, it looks like an old man with like carrying a staff with like a beard or something. And I started digging, and what the theory that I came up with was that it was Saint Michael leading these souls to heaven. It sent it to my mom, and she said, there's more people around him. And then she said, if you look at the very last like second, it like turns as if it's gonna go up that trail. And that's where the cemetery is up that trail. Because originally we thought, okay, this land is haunted for sure. Like, there's some bad stuff on this property. I'm starting to lean away from the property being haunted from something evil to being something that's positive.
What the camera captured was a narrow vertical column of reddish-orange light near the tree line, visible in daylight, standing apart from the surrounding shadows in a way she says she's never seen before or since. She acknowledges it could be a sun glare, but insists the shape was different this time. More structured, more deliberate. After slowing it down and zooming in, she began to see something that resembled a tall figure, possibly with a beard, possibly carrying a staff. She sent it to her mother, who pointed out what she thought were additional shapes surrounding it. Her theory, the one she kept coming back to, was Saint Michael, the archangel traditionally depicted as a guardian of souls, leading the dead. The trail right there in the footage leads directly up to a cemetery on the property, and she says if you watch the very last moment of the clip, the anomaly appears to turn as if moving toward that trail. Whether you think it's a light artifact or something else entirely, the location of it is difficult to dismiss. So what do you think that was? That question only deepened the more she began connecting the other strange events happening on the same property. In the months before she even knew there was a cemetery on her land, a fire broke out near one of the cabins and spread up the hill in a path that no one could fully explain. Take a look.
Really, get out of there. Really, get out of there.
A tree stump in that area kept reigniting on its own, still smoldering more than 12 hours after firefighters had completely extinguished everything else. And then the cabin closest to that spot flooded without any clear cause. She has footage of the water valve taken shortly before the flood, showing it clearly in the closed position, and yet the cabin still filled with water. When her cousin later discovered, almost by accident through a map app on her phone, that there was an unmarked cemetery sitting in that exact location, the precise spot where the fire started, the precise spot in front of the cabin that flooded, the whole sequence stopped feeling like a coincidence. The Appalachian Mountains carry one of the oldest and deepest traditions of land-based folklore in North America, a blend of Scotch, Irish, and Cherokee belief, where the idea that the dead can make themselves known to the living is not treated as superstition, but as fact. Some viewers familiar with that tradition think whatever is buried there was trying to get her attention, using the fire and the flood as signals rather than threats. Others think it's an extraordinary run of coincidence, but the cemetery's real, the water valve footage is real, and the stump was still burning long after it had any reason to be. Then she checked the security camera that covers the long gravel driveway and the yard, and what she found in the still images gave her the clearest picture yet of something that shouldn't be there. Watch closely.
What's that? Anybody with a Ring camera understands that if your camera picks up motion, it starts recording. Otherwise, it just takes a picture every minute. And this was captured in one of the pictures. It didn't record. To get an idea, this is the whole view from that camera. This is the road. This is the driveway. That you can either go up past there or you can come this way. Okay, so there's the driveway road. There's a gate right there. All along here on the other sides of the pond are these huge ditches that if you were to stand in them, they'd be over your head. Okay, so we get a layout. This tree, road, driveway. This is a deer in the same spot. And if you look over there, you can see the camera caught it, and the camera was recording that deer running from over there to over here. Okay, it was going this way. Camera caught it. You can see in the bottom corner, it says motion detected, that deer. Here is where it caught a car. You can see the car at the end of the driveway. See a vehicle. It caught it. It started recording. Caught it. And now here is where you see it just pops up. And then it goes away. I'm scrolling with my finger. Here is where it caught deer at night. In the same spot. The one on the left is in the same spot. At night, it caught it. Now I know what you're saying. Ring cameras capture weird stuff all the time. That's fine. I get it. Like the time I thought I saw a ghost in the yard. Right here. I thought that looked like a person. Not to mention the fact, if this was an actual person on a horse riding up my driveway, even if the camera didn't detect it, it would have still caught an image every so often of it walking up the driveway. There's no way it could have gotten over the gate, and there's no way that it could have gone in the creek to get onto the property. If you understood how deep this creek is, there's no way that horse could have gone down into the creek and then up and out again onto the property. It just doesn't make sense. Side note, we did discover that there is a cemetery located on our property. So many things have happened there that are just unexplainable, and yeah, I'll get into it some other time.
A single still image from the camera shows a pale, amorphous shape near the tree line. 2 parts to it, a lower bulky form and a taller, narrower shape above, like something seated on an animal. The camera didn't detect motion and didn't record a clip. It just took its periodic still photograph and caught that shape standing there. And then, the next frame it was gone. Some viewers immediately called it a ghost horse, a term that shows up repeatedly in Appalachian folklore, where the spirits of animals are said to remain tied to land they once worked. Others weren't sure what to call it at all. By the time she came back to review her footage again weeks later, she'd found something new. And this time, the camera itself seemed to be part of the story. Like and subscribe if you're enjoying watching this video. Watch.
So the footage of my neighbor going to the property, I watched it back after he left, and it sounded like women were yelling at him as he was pulling out of the driveway. So I messaged him and I said, hey, was there anyone yelling at you when you left? And he said, no. I slowed it down. After listening back, it sounds like several people yelling at him.
When she went back to pull the original clip, the footage had changed. The recording that previously showed minute-by-minute markers now displayed a single continuous bar that skipped from 9:30 in the morning directly to 4:30 in the afternoon, the ghost clip sitting right in that missing window, around noon. The data was just gone. And then she found the audio. A recording from the camera picked up 2 men talking outside. One of them saying goodbye to someone he called Pawpaw before leaving the property. Normal enough, but when she slowed it down, the voice dropped into something low and guttural that didn't sound like a slowed human voice anymore. She's since found death certificates and photographs for what she believes are 5 to 7 people buried on that land. Someone's ancestors, left in an unmarked cemetery that the property's current owners had no idea was there until a fire pointed directly at it. Whatever is on those 200 acres, it doesn't seem to be staying quiet. The following videos were all recorded inside the same home, by the same man, across what appears to be an ongoing series of disturbances. The kind that don't announce themselves all at once, but instead show up night after night, wearing you down slowly. He's been documenting everything, filming on his phone, speaking in Spanish to whoever might be watching later, making sure there's a record. On this particular night, he was eating tacos when the knocking started again. Not a casual tap. A persistent, rhythmic knock at the front door. He grabbed his phone mid-meal and started recording, saying quietly to the camera, "They're knocking, and I'm eating my tacos," followed by, "So you can see I'm not telling you lies. Watch." He opens the door to find no one there. The street empty, 2 red cars parked in the distance, nobody on the stoop. But when he turns back inside, something is lying on the tiled floor just inside the threshold. A long, pale, fibrous root-like object, dry and covered in white hair-like tendrils, almost skeletal in appearance. The door had been locked from the inside. That alone is worth sitting with. In many Latin American and Caribbean folk traditions, objects like that, dried roots, herbs, specific plant matter, left at someone's threshold aren't random. They're deliberate. Some call it brujeria, a broad Spanish language term for witchcraft or folk magic, used across Mexico and Central America to describe the practice of placing objects with intention, to curse a home, to invite something in, or to mark a person. Whether you believe in that or not, the fact that something passed through a locked door is harder to explain away. That same night, it happened again. The sounds this time were different. Not soft knocking, but rapid, sharp snapping, almost mechanical, about 2 per second, filling the room before stopping the moment he touched the locks. Watch. When he opens the door, there's another object on the doormat. A long, dry stick or vine, brittle and light brown, lying across the mat like it had been placed there carefully. 2 different sounds, 2 different objects, the same locked door, the same night. It didn't stop there. Later, he woke up to find the shower running on its own, for the 2nd time. He said so himself on camera. "This is the 2nd time it makes me get up to turn off the shower." He walked to the bathroom in the dark, turned off the water, and stepped back into the hallway. Watch.
Esta es la segunda vez que hace que me levante a cerrar la regadera.
He closes the bathroom door, the house goes quiet, and then, from somewhere down that dark hallway, a clear melodic tune begins to play. Simple, repetitive, the kind of sound you'd hear from a baby's mobile or a music box. No source visible, no one else in the hallway. Some viewers pointed out the combination of threshold objects and unseen sounds is consistent with what's sometimes described in folk magic traditions as an attempt to destabilize a household, to unsettle the people inside so something else can settle in. Others think the activity across all three clips points to something already present, using the objects as markers and the sounds as signals. But you be the judge. The following video was recorded inside a home that the family moved into not long ago. A deceased estate, meaning the previous owner passed away there, and the house itself still carries whatever that person left behind. Since moving in, their 3-year-old daughter has developed an imaginary friend, which on its own isn't unusual, except for the specific details this little girl has been sharing about who that friend is. Watch. She's seen here playing in the hallway, pushing herself backward in a pink toy stroller across the wooden floors, completely at ease. The way a child acts around someone familiar, someone she's comfortable with. It's ordinary childhood play on the surface. But the mother is the one who framed it, and according to her, what that little girl is doing isn't just playing alone. In clip 2, the mother films herself from the lower level of the house and walks through everything she's been told. Watch.
So I don't know what to do with this information. And she's 3. Like, this is the first time she's ever had an imaginary friend, and you'd think it would be like a fairy unicorn or something, but it's not. It's the most standard middle-aged man, and he sounds like a real dude, and I now think that I have to go back through births, deaths, and marriages and figure out what the name of the guy was that lived here, because if his name is Joe...
The imaginary friend has a name, Joe. He's described not as a fairy or a monster, as most childhood imaginary figures tend to be, but as a perfectly ordinary middle-aged man who likes working on his car, wears a red shirt and black gardening gloves, lives on the property, and has 2 children. And she already knows the family that sold her the house had 2 children. He's also described as having spent a lot of time in hospital, which, if the previous owner died, fits. The woman is genuinely shaken, not performing fear. Her nervous laughter and wide eyes give that away. What makes this harder to dismiss is the specificity. Kids invent imaginary friends all the time, but they tend toward the fantastical. A 3-year-old conjuring a middle-aged man who gardens, drives a car, and matches the known biographical details of the deceased owner is a different category altogether. Some believe young children are more perceptually open than adults, less filtered, less conditioned to dismiss what they sense, and that what looks like imaginative play may actually be something more literal. Others would argue the child absorbed fragments of overheard adult conversations and constructed a figure from them. The mother says she's planning to research the previous owner's name through public records, and if it comes back as Joe, she's made her decision. That question is still unanswered, and it's the one that keeps the story from closing. The following clip is about a couple, Jeff and Lauren Lowe, animal lovers and parents to their young daughter, Sarah. For a while now, this family has been dealing with a series of disturbing and unexplained events inside their home. Their cats have been caught hissing at empty corners. There's often the unmistakable feeling that someone else is in the room when no one is there, and even more unsettling, their daughter has complained about hearing someone whisper her name when she's alone. They've also reported tapping sounds when no one else is home, along with sudden, violent rattling of doors that seems to come out of nowhere. These incidents have become frequent enough that the family no longer sees them as isolated events. One day, after returning home, something immediately caught Lauren's attention. Watch.
Oh my gosh, no way. Stop the car. Hold on, stop. Check this out. Guys, we just got home. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Look. It's seriously doing it again. We just got home. And you guys are right. There are no other bushes beneath any of the other ones. And I did fix the chain. I did fix the chain, and it's still doing this. So I have no idea if it has anything to do with the bush. I don't know about you guys, but I am not touching it. I'm not disturbing it. If it is a spirit playing with it. I mean, look at it. And none of the other ones are going, so. It's really strange how it's the only one going. And yeah, it is the only one with a bush under it, so. It's interesting.
Could whatever they've been experiencing be connected to that bush? Some viewers believe the bush can act as a conduit, a place where energy gathers or something unseen anchors itself. Others suggest animals or even spirits may use it as cover, moving through it without being seen. A few have gone as far as to say the bush may need to be removed entirely, claiming it could be masking whatever is trying to interact with the house. But until Lauren decides to clear the bush, this strange activity remains unsolved. This next clip comes from a woman you might recognize from previous videos, the same one who bought a Chevy truck that her dog Titus refused to go near. At the time, people brushed it off as a strange quirk. Titus would grunt, sniff the air, and completely refuse to enter the vehicle, no matter how much encouragement he got. Now, he's acting strange again, but this time it's not the truck. It's something inside the house. Watch.
God, this.
What? What's wrong?
You think?
Taz, what is that?
Titus is visibly uneasy in the living room, focusing on one specific area as if something invisible has his attention. Some viewers suggested installing a carbon monoxide detector, thinking the dog might be sensing something coming from the fireplace. Others blamed mice, but according to the woman, whenever there's a mouse in the house, the cat immediately goes into hunting mode. This time, the cat wasn't acting like prey was nearby. Friends have advised her to contact a pet psychic, and she says that's her next step. Until then, she's continued documenting Titus's behavior, trying to catch a pattern. But things got more disturbing when the cat too started acting strange. Watch this.
You want to hear? James. Why do you want to hear it? Ready? Hey. Jangles. Okay, here we go. Okay, go on. Hi.
After repeatedly trying to head into the garage, the cat suddenly freezes, backing away as if something is blocking the entrance. And when Titus joined them and started acting in his usual strange manner, she became convinced that something's in the garage. Garages are often described as transitional spaces, places between inside and outside. And in paranormal cases, they're frequently linked to unexplained noises, shadow movement, and animal reactions. Some believe they act as entry points, while others say residual energy can linger there unnoticed. So is there really something in her garage that only her pets can sense? Or is there an explanation everyone is missing? You decide. Now in this next video, a woman named Simone has been living what can only be described as a waking nightmare. What makes her situation especially disturbing is that whatever is in her house can now open doors on its own. In many paranormal cases, this is considered a major turning point, an escalation that often leads to constant oppression, severe sleep deprivation, emotional breakdowns, and in some reports, even physical harm if nothing is done. Sadly, Simone says that's exactly what she's been experiencing. Watch.
Do you guys hear that noise? It's been like this all night. I can't make it stop. And when I get up and check the door, there's no one there. Oh my god. I'm terrified. Go away. Go away. I don't make it stop. I don't want to make them go away.
Eventually, she works up the courage to open the door, only to find that no one is there. Many believe this is a bad sign because opening doors to unexplained knocking, especially at odd hours, is thought to be a form of acknowledgement. In folklore and paranormal belief, responding to these knocks is believed to grant whatever is present permission to move closer, cross boundaries, or increase its activity. And after that moment, things did escalate. One day, while Simone was home alone, she started hearing voices. Listen carefully.
Do you guys hear that? No one is home. My sister left for the whole weekend. Who is that? Who is that in my house?
For those who doubt that mimics exist, this is where the story becomes even more unsettling. Simone says the voices sounded exactly like people she knows, loved ones who were nowhere near her at the time. Mimic entities are often described as using familiar voices to create trust, lower defenses, or lure people into responding. Just days after this clip, things got more intense. Whatever had been tormenting Simone inside her home no longer stayed confined there. It began following her outside. Watch this.
I was walking back to my car in the parking garage, and I keep hearing my name. It's coming from the stairs, but I don't see anyone on the stairs. I've been up and down these stairs, and I don't see anyone. I've just been staying inside. I can't trust anything anymore.
At times, it sounds as if someone is directly behind her, or suddenly in front of her. The constant presence has left her terrified to even step outside, unsure of where it might appear next. Many later connected these events back to her very first video, saying the shadowy figure she captured in the woods may have followed her home. Because of this, she's been warned not to acknowledge it, not to speak to it, react to it, or engage in any way. According to those familiar with attachment cases, acknowledgement is believed to strengthen these entities, feeding them attention and allowing them to tighten their hold. Whatever is happening to Simone, it's no longer limited to one place, and that's what makes this case so unsettling. In this next video, a woman becomes convinced that something isn't right in her attic. And here's why. Watch closely.
So I have this little room up in my attic, and I want to show you guys what I found in here. But first, look at this. I've been up here 2 times. I've lived in this house for 3 years, and I've been here. This will be my 2nd time. And I started doing some picking up, but that's my house down there. And this is, so if you close the door, look how tiny it is. But look at the doorknob. It's literally a foot away from the ground. Look at that. Isn't that weird? Okay, so anyways, let me just open that up real quick. I found this little guy up here. He has like a little thing to put batteries, which I'm going to try and see if it works. That'll be so cool, but it's so old and dusty. And I found him back here in this hole. I covered it back up because it's a little scary, but it's full of things. Oh, what was that?
The first thing people notice is the hole. Where does it actually go? And more importantly, what just moved? She can't explain it, so she goes back later to take clear photos of the opening, hoping to get a better look at what's inside. This time, nothing seems out of place. No movement, no shadows, just silence. But in her next video, she films the inside of her home to clear up questions viewers kept asking, especially about the furniture stored in the attic. There's no possible way those items could fit through the small opening that leads up there. Watch carefully.
You can't really see what was seen on the previous video. Plus, I was by myself. There was nobody in here. There was nobody walking around. This is the closet. And then there's one more. Let me show you guys. This is another room. Again, no holes in the ceilings. Another vent, but no like visible holes that you could see through. And then the closet, no holes. But there is a weird little door again. I don't know what's up with the weird little doors. That one's sealed. You can't open it. It's sealed. Let's go upstairs. We're up here already, and I got to the room, and I want to show you guys. I cleaned up a little bit, but to answer some of your questions, someone asked, what does this window lead to right next to the door? And I don't know. It's sealed, and there's like, yeah, it's just covered with siding. And then how did the furniture get up here? I'm assuming somebody built this up here. However, I don't know how this chair got up here. It's pretty big. I'm assuming right before they built the room, maybe they put it up here. I don't know. And then for the hole, there, as you can see, there's electricity. Oh, something else. These cables, these were all plugged in, and they go this way. Let me grab this light so I can show you guys. But let me go here. 1 second, because oh god. So the wires go all the way in here, and they're connected to something that just, there's more trash on this side of the house. See? Oh shit, there's a big asshole. Okay, so that's that side, right? The left side. But the right side, let's go take a look at the right side real quick. It's so hot in here. Oh boy. Okay, so there's no mirrors. I know you guys were saying, oh, there's a mirror. There's no mirror, no holes. Just trash. Like, I don't know.
Some people suggest the unthinkable, that someone could be living up there without her knowledge. Others mention something far more disturbing, a disappointment room. A disappointment room is believed to be a hidden space in older homes where families once confined relatives who were physically or mentally disabled, often kept out of sight and spoken about in shame. Paranormal researchers believe locations tied to isolation, neglect, or suffering can retain emotional imprints, sometimes manifesting as unexplained movement, sounds, or the feeling of being watched. Not long after these theories surfaced, she began noticing things that seemed to support the idea that the attic once served a darker purpose. Watch this.
I was gonna just update you guys once I was finished, but I wanted to show you while I was grabbing my vacuum from downstairs. I noticed this little latch, and I know a lot of you guys in the comments were saying that this might have been a disappointment room, and I'm slowly starting to believe that it might have been. There's also the electrical outlet, or the little on and off switch for the electricity. For all the lights that are in here are powered on from the outside, as well as I think that they might have locked the door from the outside using this little thing with a lock. So yeah, it's a little sad actually.
Now, many have urged her to place a camera up there, especially since some still believe a living person could be accessing the space in secret. Others are convinced whatever remains up there isn't human at all. But what do you think? A hidden room with a disturbing past? Or someone living where they shouldn't be? I'll leave you to be the judge of this one. Now, in this next clip, popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian continues his solo investigation at the infamous Squirrel Cage Jail, officially known as the Pottawatomie County Jail in Iowa. And this isn't just any abandoned jail. Built back in 1885, the structure is infamous for its rotating cage design, a mechanism that was meant to move inmates from cell to cell, but often jammed, trapping prisoners inside for hours, sometimes even days, completely helpless. This time, Ian makes his way towards solitary confinement, one of the most feared areas of the jail. But before he even reaches it, something stops him in his tracks. Watch closely.
This is where you'd go if you were acting a fool. Oh my gosh, look how creepy that looks. What the heck? I thought I heard something down there. Hello? Anyone down there? Let's go on a little further. Oh, it's tight. This is just the hallway leading up to it. Hello? There it is. You see that? Damn, that looks terrifying. Is there somebody back here? Look how small that is. That is literally your cell in solitary. You can't even sit in there. You'd have to stand. And to think that they would keep you in there for hours to even days. I mean, just imagine trying to sleep in a place like this.
To see if whatever was there could interact, Ian pulls out his K2 meter and places it carefully on the cell door, asking simple questions and waiting for a response. Watch what happens next.
If there's somebody in this cell, could you touch that green light? You just did it. Okay. Thank you. Could you touch it one more time? Holy crap. Okay, there's somebody in here. How did you end up in solitary? Did you fight somebody? Yes. Oh, guys, I'm getting goosebumps right now. I'm getting really creepy feelings. Is it okay that I'm back here? Do you not like me over here? Oh, no way, guys. He wants me gone. If you want me gone, I dare you to try to scare me out of here.
Holy shit.
Without warning, the K2 is knocked off the door, hitting the ground hard. Ian hadn't touched it, there was no airflow, no vibration, and the device wasn't balanced in a way that it could simply fall on its own. To many investigators, physical interaction like this is considered a major escalation, a sign that whatever is present isn't just passing through, it's reacting. Also, solitary confinement in old jails is often linked to intense emotional energy, isolation, fear, anger, and some believe spirits tied to those spaces are far more aggressive when disturbed. After what Ian experienced, it's hard not to wonder, was this a warning or something daring him to stay? This jail has seen years of isolation, panic, and desperation. Men locked inside a metal cage that could stop turning at any moment, left in darkness, unable to move, scream, or escape. Some believe that kind of suffering doesn't fade, it imprints. And when someone walks those halls alone, asking questions, turning on equipment, it may be enough to wake something that never truly left. For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following video is about a family and the terrifying pace at which the strange activity inside their home has been escalating, turning what was once a normal living space into somewhere they no longer feel safe being alone. It all began one afternoon when the wife was home alone. Her husband had already left for work, and she had fallen asleep on a chair in the living room. She suddenly woke up coughing violently, her throat burning, and as she caught her breath, she noticed a smell filling the air. Thick, sour, and unmistakable. The smell of rotten eggs. At first, she assumed it was something ordinary, maybe spoiled food, a gas leak, or something left in the trash. She searched the kitchen, the drains, the trash bins. She cleaned thoroughly, top to bottom, but nothing explained it. Then, just as suddenly as it appeared, it vanished. Weeks passed and the smell returned, but this time it would appear without warning, linger for only a few minutes, then disappear again. No source and no explanation. But soon, the smell became the least of their fears. They would wake up in the middle of the night to the sound of loud, agonizing screams echoing through the house, screams that didn't belong to either of them. Religious crosses they had hung on their walls would slowly rotate and sometimes be found upside down by morning, something many believe is a deliberate sign of mockery or defiance towards symbols of protection. Other nights, someone would knock on the front door, slow and deliberate, but when they opened it, no one was there. And sometimes, multiple doors would slam violently at the same time, as if something unseen was moving freely through every room, like this.
Hello? Hello? Hello? Oh, shit! Hey!
After that night, they were shaken enough to temporarily leave the house. They stayed away, trying to convince themselves it could be explained, but deep down, they knew something had changed. During that time away, the husband came to a disturbing realization. He remembered a visit he had made months earlier to an abandoned Catholic church, a place locals avoided. He recalled feeling uneasy while inside, hearing faint noises behind him, and feeling as if he wasn't alone. At the time, he dismissed it as imagination, but now, seeing what was happening in his home, he began to wonder if something had followed him back. But the next video he shared complicated that theory even further. For several nights, he began hearing faint music somewhere inside the house. After searching room after room, tearing the house apart trying to find the source, he finally discovered where it was coming from. Watch.
I don't know if it's exactly or this specific thing, but after playing with it, I did notice it, that it was this doll. So that doll that I have here on my 666 chair, right, has been making some weird sound. Now, what kind of sounds or who could have been provoking the doll, right? But if you listen to this, on the back of this doll, there's actually a latch, which is right there. So that latch there, if you spin it, it will make some sound. I will show you. So this doll here, if you take the outside rank right here, twist it, and I won't twist it too much, but look. And that is the same exact sound I was hearing. Now y'all, let me tell you something. I'm not sure what's activating this or what's causing it to sing, but tonight I will let this GoPro go live for the rest of the night. See what is provoking this to sing. The thing is that when I come out of my room right there, this thing stops singing.
The doll was the kind that only plays music when its latch is manually turned, so this raised a far more disturbing possibility. Some believe objects, especially dolls, can act as vessels. Unlike other objects, dolls resemble human forms, giving entities something easier to attach to, something easier to manipulate, but others believe something even darker may already be inside the house itself, something using the doll not as a home, but as a tool. So he set up cameras because he wanted proof. Watch. Some viewers believe the doll itself may now be the focal point, acting as a host for whatever entered the home. Others believe the activity started long before the doll, and whatever is in the house is simply using it to make its presence known in a way the family cannot ignore. And the fact that crosses are turning upside down only deepens the fear, because in many documented cases, entities believed to be malevolent will deliberately target religious symbols as a way of asserting dominance over the space and those living inside it. But until more footage is shared, this terrifying case remains unsolved. This next video was recorded by Nate, a man whose home has become the center of a long and deeply unsettling series of events that have only grown more aggressive over time. For months, Nate has documented objects moving on their own, utensils being thrown without warning, and disembodied whispers that seem to come from nowhere. His kitchen, in particular, has become the focal point of the activity, a place where things don't simply fall. They are thrown, as if something unseen is deliberately trying to make its presence known. Over time, viewers who have followed his story have watched the escalation. It began with small disturbances, soft taps, subtle movements, things easily dismissed. But soon, knives and scissors were thrown across the room, not dropped, not knocked over, but launched with force. The kind of force that suggests intention. One morning, his dog began acting restless, pacing, staring toward the kitchen, reacting to something Nate couldn't see. Moments later, a loud bang shattered the silence, and for someone who hadn't known peace in his home for months, his reaction wasn't finding a logical explanation, it was investigating.
Alright, so I just heard something. I don't know where it was coming from, either the basement or the kitchen. I'm not sure where, but it sounded like a bang or something. The dog is reacting to it, so not sure what that was. Is that the wall? I don't know what that was. What the fuck? those were there. Door's locked.
From the right side of the kitchen, something suddenly flies through the air. You can see the metal object clearly, reflecting light as it travels across the kitchen before crashing violently into the sink. What makes this moment especially disturbing is the fact that this isn't the first time. So, is whatever that's in the house only trying to scare him, or is it testing how far it can go? This time, it wasn't just the movement that unsettled viewers, it was the sound. Some people who turned their volume all the way up toward the end of the clip claim they heard a faint whisper, a single word, "Daddy." And then, on another Sunday morning, something even more disturbing was captured. Watch.
When you're sitting on a Sunday morning, having a cup of coffee, and you see all I can describe as a dark smoke or mist or cloud or something come up the basement stairs and move into the kitchen. Back door is locked. Both locks. It came up from the basement. Like right down there. Hello?
This time, whispers can be heard, but most people couldn't make out the exact words. Some listeners claim the first whisper says, "Why don't you like me?" followed later by, "Can't you hear me?" If true, those words change everything. And once again, it happens in the kitchen. This has led some viewers to speculate that whatever is present may be tied specifically to that location. Some believe it could be the spirit of someone connected to the house's past, possibly someone who once lived there, someone who felt ignored, abandoned, or unseen. Others believe it could be something far darker, something pretending to sound vulnerable in order to gain sympathy and attention. But I'll leave you to be the judge. Now, in this next clip, a man decides to record the terrifying things he experiences anytime he stays late at work alone. What makes his situation especially unsettling is the pattern he has noticed over time. According to him, the activity never happens during the day when the office is full, never when people are moving around or making noise. It only begins when everyone has left, when the building becomes quiet, empty, and still. Some nights he heard faint tapping sounds coming from inside the office itself, like fingers lightly drumming on wood, and over time he started to feel watched.
Kalau masuk, nggak usah main-main pintu. Tutup lagi nyamuknya. Ngapain? Ya Allah, makin iseng aja lah. Hei. Astagfirullahaladzim. Udah dulu yang bagus. Hey.
The door slowly creaks open on its own, then something even more disturbing appears. A face. Moments like this are especially disturbing because they suggest that whatever is causing this isn't somewhere far away, it's right there, inside the room, moving within his space. The following clip was captured by a lady's security camera. One morning, while going through her movement notifications from the night before, she noticed an alert triggered at a strange hour, a time when she was certain everyone in the house was asleep and nothing should have been moving. Curious, she opened the footage, and what she saw immediately gave her chills. Watch. A shadow slowly pops out by the door and doesn't fully reveal itself. It peeks carefully, like something was checking if the area was clear before stepping out. What makes this especially disturbing is the fact that she doesn't have any pets, nothing that could have created a shadow of that size or shape, and no one else had access to the house that night. Viewers later asked for more context, so she shared the full video. Watch. The first thing that came to some people's minds was a rat. But isn't it too big to be a rat? I'd leave you to be the judge on this one. This next video was sent in by a lady's cousin who had recently installed a motion detecting security camera in her basement, mainly as a precaution, never expecting it would capture something that would leave her questioning what might be inside her home when she isn't there. According to her, no one was at home at the time, nothing that should have triggered the alert. So when she received a motion notification coming from the basement, a place no one had entered that entire day, she immediately felt uneasy. Still, she opened the footage. Have a look. She believes the white object might be a dryer sheet, especially since the washer and dryer are positioned to the left of the frame. But what makes this difficult to explain is the fact that there is no draft down there. The basement windows are made of sealed glass cubes that cannot be opened, meaning there is no clear airflow that could push something that deliberately across the floor. But what truly terrified her wasn't just the movement, it was the sound. If you listen closely, faint footsteps can be heard, slow and heavy, followed by a low growling or rumbling noise, something deep, something unnatural, something that doesn't sound like it belongs in an empty basement. And again, there was nobody home at the time. Some believe entities prefer lower levels of homes because they are quieter, more isolated, easier to occupy without being disturbed. Others believe growling sounds are especially concerning, often linked in paranormal reports to entities that are not passive, not harmless, but aware, territorial, and capable of interacting with their environment. So now, if no one was home, what exactly triggered the camera? Now in this next clip, popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian continues his investigation inside the infamous Blackford County Jail, a location widely regarded as one of the most feared and talked about haunted buildings in the state of Indiana. This time, Ian decides to explore one of the most avoided parts of the building, the attic. According to local rumors and previous investigators, This attic is believed to be haunted by the spirit of a young girl, an entity said to appear unexpectedly and interact with objects left behind. So Ian brings along a few trigger objects, including a stuffed animal, hoping to encourage communication. Watch.
Here, that was hung from this. Whoa. Dude, I think I just saw an orb fly by that thing. If that was you, could you do that again? Were you hung here? Were you executed here? Dude. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Dude, that thing is swaying back and forth. I can't believe that. Dude, it's literally just started swaying back and forth. Dude, now it's slowing down. It stopped. Dude.
As he scans the attic, something unusual begins to happen. Near an old noose hanging from the ceiling, a faint orb appears, hovering close to it. At first it seems subtle, almost easy to miss, but then the noose itself begins to swing. Many paranormal investigators believe objects like nooses can carry heavy emotional residue, especially in places where suffering or death may have occurred, making them potential focal points for spiritual energy. But what happens next is even harder to explain. Watch.
I can't stay up here. I can't. I can barely see, my freaking flashlight's dying too. Alright. I've had enough. I'm sorry, little girl. Thank you.
From somewhere in the darkness, the stuffed animal he placed earlier is suddenly thrown to the floor. Unfortunately, he didn't capture the exact moment, but moments later, Ian captures something even more disturbing. Listen carefully. A faint giggle echoes from the darkness, and it sounds like a little girl giggling. It's often warned that childlike laughter in haunted locations may not always be what it seems, as some believe certain entities imitate children to appear harmless and lower a person's guard. Until more investigations reveal the truth, what Ian captured inside that attic remains one of the most chilling and unexplained moments inside the Blackford County Jail. For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following clip was recorded by a team of paranormal investigators who decided to livestream their exploration of an abandoned house, allowing viewers to witness in real time what they described as one of the most aggressive environments they had ever entered. A place where silence never truly felt empty and every step seemed to disturb something that did not want to be found. Almost immediately after entering, the atmosphere inside the house felt heavy and unwelcoming. The kind of oppressive stillness investigators often associate with locations that have been abandoned for long periods. Places where memories, trauma, and emotional energy are believed to linger without interruption, slowly shaping the environment into something far more hostile over time.
Aoleu, a spart bateria. Băi, bă, rămas bateria acolo, băi. Nu mai cânta, băi, nu mai cânta, băi, omule, băi. Băi, oprește-te, băi. Bă, oprește, băi, că s-o dișălat bateria aici, am cațaș. Fugi. Fugi. Dă-i tare. Dai, măi, oleacă. Uite ce am făcut aici. Are pe bune. O început cânta Ionuț acolo în cameră, dărâmat dulapul de tot.
Doamne Iisuse Hristoase, Dumnezeul nostru, Cel ce a făcut marea și toate cerele.
Aoleu, a spart bateria. Băi.
Objects inside the house suddenly begin scattering violently, shifting and falling with force in a way that makes it clear this is not the result of simple structural instability or natural movement, but something deliberate, something reacting to their presence as if disturbed by the intrusion. Many paranormal researchers believe abandoned buildings become ideal environments for darker entities, especially because they remain undisturbed for years, allowing whatever presence exists there to grow stronger without resistance, feeding off isolation, decay, and the absence of human activity, until the moment someone enters and disrupts that balance. But this was not the only time they captured something disturbing. During another live stream at a completely different abandoned house, the investigators experienced something that left both them and their viewers shaken. Watch.
Da cu casetofonul ăsta mini, da cu dulapul mini. Oricare spirit te află aici, oricare... Ce-a fost asta? Ce-a fost asta? S-a disfăcut sertarul în cap.
Ferească-mă Dumnezeu, dacă nu mai citesc o dată.
Fai de cap, mă, dacă nu nebunesc. Uitați, uite spiritul cum trece pe aici, uite, uite. Da cu dulapul mini. Îți ordon oricare spirit te afla, oricare e
Ce-i zis așa, mai?
Nu, am stricat tot, gata.
De ce ai zis să-i nu trebuia să zici?
Vai de capul,
o rup priză, o rup toată.
Pleacă, gata.
Ți-am zis să nu zici. Ai zis să dea cu dulapul în tine, de ce ai zis?
Fai de capul meu.
Nu trebuia să zici.
În fața mea, Ionuț.
Hai de mine, nu trebuia să zici. Nu trebuia să cânt nicio aia.
Pardon, oricare spirit te afla, oricare...
Ăsta pe bunii de mult, pe bunii de la mare.
Na, Ionuț.
Nu-ți de aminte de ei. ci cu ochii, ci căcatul ăsta.
A, tu cu moliftele tale, cu astea.
Nu, e de la molift.
Nu e de la molift.
Ai zis tu.
Am zis eu.
First, some viewers tried to dismiss what appeared on camera as nothing more than dust particles or light reflecting off debris in the air, but that explanation quickly becomes difficult to accept when you notice the timing. The formation appears almost immediately after one of the investigators directly asks if any spirits are present, as if responding to the question itself. And then, only moments later, the shelf suddenly comes crashing down with force, violently collapsing in a way that suggests something far stronger than coincidence. Whatever was inside that house was strong enough to disrupt the environment, strong enough to respond, and strong enough to make it clear that it did not want them there. And encounters like this are exactly why investigators warn that some abandoned places are not empty at all, they are occupied. We can only hope that whatever was strong enough to cause that level of destruction never follows anyone home. This next video was captured by a woman's CCTV camera, and when she reviewed the footage later that morning, she noticed something that immediately made her stop and replay the moment over and over again, because what appeared on the screen didn't resemble anything she could explain through normal means. Watch.
Alright, you guys, this happened. So much shit happened yesterday, it's not even funny. On the 17th yesterday at 6:55 a.m., look at the car cruising by slowly, but that's not it, y'all. Let me know if I'm tripping, y'all. Let me know. At 6:55. Now, hold on, y'all. 3 minutes later, let's get to it. Here he comes. Hold on, let me show y'all the time. So y'all, 3 minutes later, after this car, come on, man, talk to me. Hold on, y'all, watch it. No, let's play it back one more time. Y'all played this video over and over again, because I was like, hold on, is it a headlamp? Watch, that's his eyes, y'all. Man, let's do it again. This is the part right here. Hold on. No, did you see how it went? Y'all, I can't do it, man. I can't. Where you at? Watch how it goes. It already did it. Y'all, did you see how it's going inside of his face, though? Like a headlamp. No, that part right there. Hold on. I went live. Watch this light. I went live a few hours later. This is yesterday too, about 7:30. Look at that. For those of you who was on my live, as long as you receive my love and you give back love, I love you. Oh, and you can hear the clip, y'all. And you can hear the clip. But as long as you receive my love and you give back love, I love you. Oh, So what was that? What was that flashlight? Now this last video, I'm gonna have to upload it by itself because y'all need to hear the sound. This was also the 17th. This was at 10:30, about 10:30 p.m. same day.
At first glance, it's easy to assume the light could be coming from a headlamp or perhaps some kind of reflection from a passing vehicle, but that explanation quickly falls apart the moment you focus on the details. The light is positioned directly where the eyes would be, and doesn't behave like light reflecting. After this, she began noticing other strange changes around her property. Her motion alerts became more frequent, even on nights when there were no animals, no people, and no environmental triggers that could explain the activity. Sometimes the cameras would activate repeatedly within minutes of each other, as if something was pacing just outside her home, staying close but never fully revealing itself. Another night, she captured something even stranger, this time on her phone. Watch.
I saw you. The two glowing eyes right there. In between the two trees. Right there. It just did something. What is that? Oh, y'all see it. Y'all see it. Oh, shit. Oh, oh, oh. Oh. Oh. Oh, shit. Oh, it's a light beam. It's a light beam. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Y'all see it? You guys. It's too much. It's a lot just happened. Like, I'm waiting for my son. That was the ET I saw behind. Y'all, I seen it right here through the rearview mirror. The side mirror. I caught it, like the last part of it going by. And I'm trying to see which side did it go to.
In the footage, what appears to be a concentrated mass of light briefly forms and moves in a way that feels controlled rather than random, which has led many viewers to speculate that it could be what paranormal researchers sometimes describe as an energy manifestation, a form entities are believed to take when they do not have enough strength to fully appear as a solid figure. These manifestations are often described as existing somewhere between visible and invisible, appearing as glowing forms, flickers, or silhouettes made of light rather than matter. Some believe these forms are used to observe, to move quietly without being fully seen, especially in the early stages of a haunting when whatever is present has not yet fully anchored itself to the location. But the situation became even more unsettling when her CCTV camera captured something else. Listen closely. Heavy footsteps can be heard moving through the area, accompanied by raspy, unnatural sounds that don't resemble speech, breathing, or any known animal. For weeks now, she says it feels like something has been watching her. Her cameras activate almost every night, and the activity always happens in patterns, never random, as if whatever it is knows exactly where she is and when she is most vulnerable. Also, she's been having nightmares, but there's one in particular that left her deeply shaken. She describes dreaming about Egypt, about standing alone while what looked like an army of dark figures rushed toward her. She remembers waking up not in her bed, but in her driveway, disoriented, with no memory of how she got there. Since then, she has also reported hearing tapping on her walls at night, faint at first, but persistent, sometimes moving from one side of the house to another, as if something is trying to find a way in. Some believe the activity may have first attached itself to the location outside, possibly drawn to the property or passing through the area, and that by reviewing the footage repeatedly, focusing on it, and giving it attention, she may have unknowingly encouraged it to come closer. Attention is often described as a form of invitation, acknowledgement that can strengthen a presence and allow it to transition from being something that lingers outside to something that begins to enter. Whether this is a series of camera anomalies, sleep disturbances influencing perception, or something far more sinister slowly closing in, for now, it remains a mystery. The following video comes from another haunted home, this one owned by a woman named Lauren, who says the activity inside her house has been escalating steadily over time, shifting from small, dismissible moments to patterns that feel intentional, calculated, and increasingly difficult to ignore. Before this particular night, Lauren had already documented multiple unsettling incidents. She discovered footprints appearing on her floors that didn't match the size or shape of anyone living in the house, some smaller than an adult's, others oddly shaped, as if the impression was incomplete, like something tried to step into the physical world but didn't fully succeed. She has also described repeatedly seeing figures move at the edge of her vision, never directly in front of her, always just beyond clear sight, forcing her to question whether she imagined it, until it kept happening. There have been voices too, faint at first, almost blending into background noise, but clear enough that she knew they weren't coming from outside. Voices heard while she was completely alone. She has also watched objects shift subtly from where she left them, doors creak open after being firmly closed, and small items fall without any visible cause. Individually, each of these events could be explained away, but together, they form something far more disturbing. One night, just as Lauren was about to go to bed, she heard noises again, and instead of ignoring it, she reached for her phone and began recording. Watch.
Having to go upstairs and check something because I just heard a noise. Did you hear that? Okay. Okay, it's time to go back. Thought I heard something. I don't know. What was that? What was that? Okay.
If you listen closely, you can hear what sounds like children playing, and the unsettling part is that there are no children there. Childlike voices are sometimes associated with what investigators call mimic entities, presences that imitate innocence to appear less threatening, slowly building comfort before escalating activity. Others believe residual hauntings can replay fragments of past life, like recordings embedded into the structure of a house, looping moments that once happened there. But the activity Lauren describes doesn't feel residual. So for now, Lauren continues to document everything, hoping to eventually understand what's sharing her home with her. Until then, this chilling case remains unexplained. Now, in this next video, a family claims they have been dealing with what they believe are mimics inside their home. And according to them, this wasn't the first strange incident. For months leading up to this night, they had reported hearing their names being called from empty rooms, footsteps pacing upstairs when no one was there, and doors opening shortly after they were shut. On more than one occasion, the children insisted they heard their mother calling them from the hallway, only to find her downstairs the entire time. At first, the parents assumed it was imagination or acoustics playing tricks on them, but the pattern became harder to dismiss when the voices began perfectly matching their tones. One night, the father was still at work when something deeply unsettling happened. Watch.
A ver, vamos. Ya saben que no es papá, ¿eh? Ya saben que no es papá. Tranquilos.
Vengan, vengan. Córranle, vengan. Miren a la mano que les compré. Les va a gustar, vénganse.
Amigos, mi esposo no puede ser.
Ale.
Mi esposo
Ven,
salió.
mamacita. Ven, Alexa. Ven, mamá. Mira lo que te compré, hija.
Mi esposo no es, amigos. Mi esposo
Ven,
no
niña. Ven, corazón. ¡Chamacos!
Mamá, decirle es mi
¡Chamacos!
No, mi amor, ya sé.
¡Vengan!
Tranquilos.
¡Vengan!
In the recording, a voice can be heard clearly calling out from inside the house. It sounds exactly like the father, but when the wife immediately messages her husband to ask why he's calling out instead of simply coming inside, his reply sends a chill through her. He's still at work, and even if he had arrived, there would be no reason to stand downstairs repeatedly calling their names instead of walking in and greeting them like he always does. Mimic entities are considered especially disturbing because they do not simply produce random noises. They imitate. They study, they replicate voices with precision, often targeting close family members to create confusion and draw someone toward the sound. Some believe these entities feed on reaction and fear, growing bolder the more attention they receive. Others warn that responding directly to a mimic, especially by calling back or searching for it, can escalate activity. But what do you think? An elaborate audio illusion, a psychological misinterpretation, or something far darker? You decide. Now, in this next clip, popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian continues his investigation inside the infamous Blackford County Jail, a location widely regarded as one of the most feared and talked about haunted buildings in the state of Indiana. Its aging corridors and rusted cell blocks carrying decades of violent history, failed escapes, and stories that many believe never truly ended. At around 3 a.m., after a night already filled with strange and difficult to explain occurrences, Ian makes his way into the men's cell block, carefully stepping between the narrow rows of iron bars while documenting the area with his camera, hoping to capture anything unusual that might reveal itself in the stillness of the empty prison. But while reviewing the photographs he had just taken, he notices something deeply unsettling. Staring back at him from inside one of the cells are what appear to be a pair of eyes, clearly visible through the bars, fixed directly in his direction despite the fact that he is completely alone inside the building. And this is where things start to get even more disturbing. Only seconds later, his voice recorder captures a chilling message.
Like you're supposed to be.
At the time, Ian doesn't fully understand the meaning behind the words or the danger they may represent, but what happens next makes it clear that whatever is present inside the cell block is not passive and not willing to be ignored. Moments later, this happened.
Hello? What the f was that?
enough. I've had enough. Oh. That was in this cell. That was in here. What the heck was that? Whoa. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What the? Oh. Look at. Dude! Holy shit! Something fucking just destroyed that cell!
Without warning, the mattress resting on one of the cots suddenly lifts into the air with enough force to separate from the metal frame, before violently slamming back down onto the bed. Although he didn't capture the movement on camera, the sound alone is enough to confirm that something happened in that room. Despite the fear and despite every instinct telling him to leave, Ian chose to stay, holding on to the promise he had made to himself long ago, that this time he would not run. For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. This next clip is an update from the family that once opened their door after weeks of strange knocking. The same family whose life changed from odd disturbances to full-blown haunting. Now, just when they thought things might calm down, the activity has escalated, and it's getting worse, especially around the kitchen. Watch.
Padre Santo. Padre nuestro que estás en el cielo, santificado sea tu nombre. Venga a nosotros tu reino. Hágase tu voluntad así en la tierra como en el cielo.
This isn't the soft, tentative knocking of before. This is aggressive, hard, demanding. It rattles the door's frame. It shakes the house. It doesn't stop after one or two knocks. It repeats, builds, as though whatever's on the other side has run out of patience and is desperate to get in. That alone raises a chilling question. They once opened the door, and after that, chaos followed. So why is there knocking again? Some believe when a spirit becomes comfortable with a house, it doesn't stay alone. It invites others. And those other presences tend to be far less patient, far more dangerous. With this kind of knocking, the thing behind the door could be far worse than what first showed up. Opening it may no longer just let in a curious specter, but something malevolent, something hungry. As desperate as this family must be, at this point, opening the door isn't an option. Not until they have a plan, or someone powerful enough to handle what might come through. If you were them, what would you do now? Change house? Set up protection? Call professionals? Whatever their next move is, one thing is certain. What's behind that door may be beyond anything they've seen before, and until we get more footage, more answers, or some clarity, this remains a mystery. This next clip is also an update from a previous investigation where a team of ghost hunters explored an old property that once belonged to an elderly couple who passed away, leaving the home abandoned for years. For days they've been at the house, documenting everything from soft knocks echoing through the hallway to objects subtly shifting whenever no one was looking. At one point, if they reached out to pick something up, no matter whether it was a notebook, a candle, or even a cup, the table would suddenly start vibrating violently until they dropped the item, almost like the spirit was warning them, "Don't touch my things." Even then, the investigators didn't leave. They felt strongly that whatever was there wasn't aggressive, only protective. So they tried something different, something that would confirm whether a spirit was truly responding to them. Watch this.
Da, nu știu, punem jos acolo.
Aici în casă?
Mai aici, în spate, la tablou. Au pisare asta, nu știu pe ceva.
Așa?
Da, nu contează.
Dar ce vrei să fac?
Hai să vezi acum șmecherie.
Explică-mi și mie.
Deci îl lăsăm pe Nea Gheorghe aici, da? Bun. Acum. Închidem balconul. Eu am prins care-i faza, ca să știți.
Dar să nu și merge, poate muri noi, ca măcar...
Dar parcă n-ai mai murit.
Da, am murit, dar nu te mai am.
Oricare spirit te află aici, oricare entitate, oricare demon, oricare strigoi, prin puterea primordială, îți ordon să miști tabloul ăsta sau să-l dai jos sau...
Eu am limba.
Da? Deci ceva se lega. Nu mă sperii, nu rămân surprins. Fiindcă știam, eram sigur, 90% eram sigur că o să se întâmple chestia asta.
Adică când ne amândoi în balcon faci așa?
Da, fii atent. Păi așa că-l iau. Stai așa. Am luat pe Nea Gheorghe și lăsăm aici.
Și acum ce se întâmplă? Din timp murim?
Băi, oricare spirit te afla aici, oricare entitate, oricare demon, oricare suflet neliniștit, prin puterea primordială îți ordon să miști. Du-te, fă cu meciul tău, tragă meciul tău, l-o da jos să moară familia mea, l-o dau jos.
That moment was all the proof they needed, and after that, the house changed. The activity grew stronger. Watch.
Ia-l repede, ia-l!
O căzut singur. O căzut singur. Ai de pula mea. De pula mea.
Doamne, mi-am făcut cruci. Credeți-mă pe bunic, mi-am făcut cruci.
Credeți-mă, eu prinde mâia asta că nu.
E gata-i.
Îl ard în tămâi.
E gata-i, nu mai, e gata-i.
Îl ard în tămâi.
O dispărut, mâncați-l. Tu, măi, Nea Gheorghe, măi.
Deschide-o cum stai așa.
Oricare spirit te află aici, îți ordon să faci ceea ce faci, să faci în fața camerei. Poza e jos, mă, acolo, rămas jos.
What came next sparked a completely different debate among viewers. Have a look.
Bun, Nea Gheorghe, dacă tot ești acolo lângă păpușa aia, poți un pic să o miști sau să o faci să meargă? Deci dacă se mișcă păpușa, am plecat acasă, vă zic de pe acum. Băga mea și pula în dracu să-mi bag. Gata, ba pula în casa asta. Gata, fraților, v-am bat în casa asta. Ieși afară, băga mea și pula, nică ne omoară.
The discovery of those dolls shifted the entire conversation. Many began questioning whether the spirit they'd been communicating with was truly tied to the house, or tied to the dolls themselves. In the paranormal world, dolls are known to hold attachments. Spirits sometimes cling to them, reside in them, or even use them as vessels when they can't anchor themselves anywhere else. So now, there were two theories. Either the spirit belonged to someone who once lived in the home, or the previous owners unknowingly brought home a doll that already carried an attachment. After seeing those dolls move the way they did, the team didn't need any more convincing. They packed up their equipment, left the property immediately, and made it very clear they had no intention of spending another night inside that house. Now in this next video, a guy named Kyle, who you might remember from several of our previous videos, is still dealing with the same thing that's been tormenting him for months. Knocking sounds that seem to move from room to room, always following him, always getting louder. But this time, he was finally able to trace one of those knocks directly to the basement, and he discovered something that left him more confused than ever. Take a look.
Gosh dang it, I'm hearing that knocking sound again. There it is. Where is it coming from? Right there, right there. It's coming from this door. That's where it's been coming from. Somebody's knocking on that, or something is knocking on this freaking door. But there's nobody there, obviously. Well, at least I now know where it's coming from.
Finding no one at the door, no footsteps, not even a shadow fleeing the scene, left him with only one conclusion. Whatever is knocking isn't human. And honestly, after everything Kyle has been through in that house, this shouldn't even be surprising anymore. Because remember, this is the same guy who woke up one night and caught a dark figure standing frozen inside his crawl space, unmoving, just staring straight ahead as if it had been waiting for him. The same guy who's heard children laughing in the middle of the night, even though he has no kids, seen things in his attic shift around on their own, and has documented footsteps pacing inside the walls, things falling in the garage, small objects getting pushed across the floor, and the worst one yet, his home camera once caught a figure standing quietly beside his bed while he slept, vanishing just seconds before he woke up. All these incidents, from the crawl space, to the attic, to the garage, to his bedroom, and now the basement, connect in one disturbing pattern. Whatever is in this house moves freely, watches him, and makes itself known whenever it wants to. So until Kyle drops more updates, this remains one of the hardest cases to decode. In the following video, a guy and his partner have been dealing with something extremely unsettling inside their home. For days now, they've been coming back from work to find their living room and kitchen completely out of place. Pillows on the floor, cabinets half open, small items thrown across the room, and once, an entire stack of folded laundry scattered across the hallway as if someone walked through it intentionally. One of them insisted it had to be the cat, but the other argued that it didn't make sense. The cat isn't strong enough to knock over half the things they found on the ground. So to settle the argument once and for all, they installed cameras. Here's what the camera caught. This clearly shows the cat is innocent, but it also confirms something else entirely. The couple now has another presence in the house, one they never invited and one they don't understand. And after seeing that footage, their minds immediately shifted from who did this to what exactly are we living with and how dangerous can it be? So look closely at the clips to see if you can piece things together. Watch. After this second clip, people in the comments began forming their own theories. Many said the movement feels exactly like a child spirit, but it didn't only happen during the day. Watch this. Now, how do you explain a chair rocking on its own in the middle of the night, almost as if someone was sitting in it and pushing off the ground with their feet? That detail alone shifted the conversation. Some viewers pointed out that this kind of night activity usually means the spirit is fully comfortable, too comfortable. Others believe the chair movement ties directly to the mess during the day, suggesting the same presence is active around the clock. If it really is a child spirit, it might not even realize it's causing fear, just doing what kids do, playing, exploring, touching things that don't belong to them. But until more updates are shared, and until the couple figures out exactly what kind of presence they're dealing with, this case remains completely unsolved. Now, this next video captures something that genuinely shook a lot of viewers, because it happened while Rebecca was homeschooling her kids. Watch.
2 and 0. So it's asking you which intervals in which the Y is increasing. Select all and apply. Okay, so now we have it. So we have here to here. So the first one, -6, okay? And then we have, then it goes down, down, down, down, down, up, and up. Okay, so we have -6 and -6 and 0.
At first glance, your mind wants to go with the simplest explanation, that the tree was already hanging by a thread. But according to Rebecca, the tree was still firmly attached to its base. No visible damage, no rot, nothing that looked like it was about to collapse. And then people who slowed the footage down began noticing something else. Something that made the entire situation feel way less natural. Several viewers claimed they saw a figure moving behind the tree just seconds before it began shaking on its own. So was it gravity, a rare coincidence, or something attempting to reveal itself through the only object it could manipulate? You decide. In this next clip, the popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian visited Bonanzaville, an open-air museum filled with preserved historic structures from different eras of North Dakota. There's the old haunted tavern where staff have reported glasses clinking on their own, the mansion said to echo footsteps long after closing, and even a small church where a shadowy figure is often seen slipping between the pews. And of course, Ian decided to walk through all of it completely alone. He started his investigation inside the old train shed, an authentic 1930s passenger coach where visitors have sworn they've seen a phantom conductor pacing the aisle. But for Ian, that night, the train shed was calm. Where things shifted was the next building he stepped into, the telephone museum. Watch.
These phones are dead. They're not even on. I'm not even sure if you'd even be able to make calls with it right now. Could you move this? The rotary dial? Whoa, what the? Dude, that was a freaking straight up phone ringing in that room. Holy crap, that scared me. Did you just make one of the phones ring in that room? That was coming from that room over there. Oh god. Well, I suppose let's go answer.
This museum has a long, unsettling history. Staff say the phones inside often ring on their own, connecting to other historical buildings across the property. But whenever someone picks up, it's only dead air. Others have reported seeing a ghostly woman drift through the aisles, appearing and disappearing between the old switchboards. So Ian, being Ian, decided to answer one of the ringing phones himself. Watch what happened.
Hello? Could you speak through this phone? Who called that phone earlier? Put my voice recorder up to it.
A faint whisper came through his recorder, and Ian couldn't tell whether the voice came through the phone or from somewhere else inside the room. Listen again. Some say the voice sounds like it's trying to speak directly to him. Others think it's the woman people claim to see in the building, but whether it's tied to the museum, the phones, or something else entirely, one thing is clear: whatever haunts that building knew he was there. For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following video was captured inside a hospital by Dave, a man who claims he's been gifted with sight since he was young. According to him, he doesn't just sense things, he sees and hears them, and he says spirits tend to follow him, especially in places where emotions are intense, like hospitals, cemeteries, abandoned buildings, places where life and death have crossed paths. While Dav was receiving treatment, he suddenly felt like he wasn't alone in the room. Watch.
There's like something in this room. That is like moving, like the chairs. Move this shit around here. Oh, my bad. That should hurt. But anyways, if there's a spirit in here, just let me know. You know. And sometimes things this is Kaiser. Oh, good. I felt like a really heavy presence in this room right when I walked in, but I just thought I see something sitting right there. I'm sorry. My phone. That's not good. There's a lot of things happening here. Again, that door slowly opened and closed right now. If there's anything in here, just give me a sign. I'm here in peace. Okay, you can say anything. Just don't mess with my heart monitor or anything. That started to move, but it could be people up there. I just in here. Something here, TV or something. Move anything you want. Let the people know that you're speaking to this thing. Show me your hair, presents. You could, I got a gift, and I'm not afraid. So if you decide to move anything, open that door again, I won't be frightened. What the hell? Oh. Whoa, shh. Excuse me, nurse. Oh, that's some activity. Excuse me. This thing fell. Right here. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it just fell.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I was just sleeping and.
Well, that scared you, huh?
Yeah, it scared the shit.
I was worried. I thought you fell.
Oh no.
It wasn't you. All right.
Okay, people, that was a scary situation. I know I didn't jerk, but yeah, it's ghost activity. Oh my god. Oh crap. Well, I got the gift, but I'm not gonna abuse it. I just asked for, little signs here and there. They showed them to me. Nothing to be alarmed about, people. Didn't feel it was evil at all. But, whoa, I know you guys heard that over there. Woo! Anyways, God bless you guys. I'm not gonna entertain them anymore because I don't need my heart to go racing. God bless you guys. But anyways, I was gonna cut this video short, but right when I was gonna cut it short, something else happened. But I'm waiting for it to happen again. So this right here, mind you, this is the only sliding door that's open. But this right here pulled all the way back this way. So what happened last time was I was asking it for a sign, and it pushed over this metal thing right here. I had to tell the nurse I was sleeping because I didn't want her to think I did the shit, or I just told her I don't know. I didn't know what to, make up, but this shit is, it's crazy, And all I asked is for a sign, and they give them to me. But the thing is, I'm like used to it when there are signs, But in hospitals, there's a lot of activity, and I already know like I'm gonna find something, that would like give me a sign or whatever. Oh, just like that. That was up there under my sweater or some shit. Okay. I know you're not welcome here, so you can go back to wherever you come from. Cause I'm gonna take a nap. And this arm right here you can't do nothing with it. It hurts. So I gotta lay on my side right here. Okay, people. God bless you. Blessings. And man, pray for me.
If you listen closely, after he says, "I'm here for peace," a faint whisper can be heard saying, "Help," and then what sounds like "knife." That detail is what unsettled viewers the most. Some speculate it could be the spirit of someone who passed away in that very room, possibly someone connected to surgery or a traumatic procedure. Hospitals are places of healing, but they're also places of loss, fear, and unfinished stories. In paranormal theory, strong emotional events can leave behind residual energy, like a recording that replays under the right conditions. Others believe this could be an intelligent haunting, meaning whatever is there is aware and responding directly to Dave, especially since the whisper appears right after he speaks. During his stay, Dave also mentioned feeling a heavy presence near the chair in the room. He said the energy felt concentrated there, like someone was sitting and watching him, but when he looked, no one was there. Of course, skeptics argue hospitals are full of ambient noise, machines humming, distant voices, equipment moving, and audio pareidolia can make random sounds seem like words. According to them, when you expect to hear something, your brain can fill in the blanks. So was it simply hospital acoustics playing tricks on the ears? Or did someone or something in that room hear him when he said he came in peace and answered back? You decide. In this next video, Andrea is walking her dog late at night when something in the distance makes her stop. At first, she thinks it's just her eyes adjusting to the dark, but then she notices shapes that don't look quite right. So she pulls out her phone and starts recording. Have a look. In the distance, 3 shadow figures appear to be standing completely still. Some believe they could simply be people standing under poor lighting, their features swallowed by the darkness. At night, depth perception becomes unreliable. Streetlights can distort proportions, and shadows can merge together, making ordinary figures look unnaturally tall or solid black. But others argue something feels off. In paranormal discussions, shadow figures are often described exactly this way: human-shaped, lacking detail, and usually seen in peripheral vision. They're said to be watchers, observers, and in some reports, they appear in groups of 2 or 3. The fact that there are 3 of them standing together raises even more concern for believers. Some theories suggest that multiple figures appearing at once could indicate something more intelligent or coordinated, not residual energy, but active presence. As for danger, most accounts claim shadow entities don't always attack, but they can induce fear, paralysis, or a feeling of being targeted. And fear is something certain entities feed off. Whatever they were, one thing is clear: they weren't moving, and they were aware enough to stand there while being filmed. Until clear footage surfaces, what Andre saw that night remains a mystery. Now in this next video, a team of paranormal investigators visit an abandoned house that locals have refused to go near for years. The place has been empty for decades, and as many paranormal researchers will tell you, abandoned buildings have a way of holding on to energy. When houses are left to decay, especially ones tied to unknown histories, tragedies, or sudden departures, believers say the energy inside can become stagnant, trapped. So the team sets up their equipment: EMF readers, cameras, and most importantly, trip wires. For those unfamiliar, trip wires are extremely sensitive devices designed to trigger if something physically passes through them. Not wind, not distant vibration, but something crossing the line. As they begin asking questions, trying to provoke a response, this happens.
And see what's popping. Nope, that's not a new tripwire. That's the same tripwire that we use at the breakfast state, that I've used in other places. Okay. That door just opened up by itself. I didn't even get that far. Dude.
You went up here or either.
This door just opened up by itself. Here we go. Wait. Crazy, right? That was me. I bumped into the table here. If you heard something rattle, that was me. But that door opening up.
Quite clean.
The trip wires suddenly went nuts, and then, almost on cue, the door slowly opens by itself. Skeptics argue structural shifts could trigger the wires, but paranormal experts would say something else entirely. They believe abandoned spaces can act like containers, especially if something tragic happened there. If investigators actively try to communicate, they're essentially knocking on whatever door exists between worlds. And sometimes, something knocks back. Abandoned buildings already carry risk, unstable floors, toxic air, human squatters. But if something unseen is also moving through the halls, that's a different kind of danger. So was this structural coincidence, or did something in that house finally respond to being called out? You decide. The following video was recorded by a woman named Simone during what was supposed to be a normal evening walk. Watch closely. If you pause at the right moment, you'll notice a dark figure leaning against a tree before it suddenly darts away. At first, Simone brushed it off. Maybe it was a trick of the light, maybe someone was hiding. But what unsettled her wasn't just what she saw, it was what she felt after leaving the area. Even when she had completely walked past the tree line, she couldn't shake the sensation that someone was still behind her, matching her pace. On her way home, she passed a strange building she'd never paid attention to before. This time, she went in. As she steps inside the dark room, look toward the right side of the door near the end of the clip. Something shifts behind it. Simone later said that's when the idea first crossed her mind. What if whatever she saw near the tree wasn't random? What if it was watching her? A few evenings later, she passed the same building again, and this time she heard a voice that sounded exactly like her sister calling her name.
I don't know why the lights are on, but I'm going inside of this house. I just heard my sister's voice, and I'm sick of this. And I need to figure out what's going on so I can put a stop to it. Why is this chair in the middle of the floor?
Mimicking entities are considered particularly dangerous. They don't just appear, they imitate familiar voices to lure people closer. When Simone stepped inside, she noticed a chair positioned strangely in the middle of the room. Before she could even finish talking, she saw the figure again. After that encounter, she convinced herself the entity was attached to the abandoned house, not her. But that assumption didn't last long, because soon after, her own home stopped being quiet. Banging at night, footsteps when she's alone, whispers she can't trace, and an overwhelming sense of fear that comes without warning. One day, a friend visited after hearing everything, and this happened.
Hey guys, it's Simone again.
You kidding me?
Yeah. So I'm here with my friend Lexi, and I thought that this was over, but it's still happening. Something from this entity is still trying to get to me, so...
I thought you were kidding.
No.
Like, this is horrible.
I'm not kidding.
I don't know how you've been living like this. This is literally, like, I've checked this door 5 times. There's no way anyone is in the backyard.
So, still going on, and I just wanted to come back and report to you guys that it's still impacting my life every day.
I'm so sorry. This is insane.
Here's the unsettling theory. If the activity followed Simone home, then this may not be about a haunted location anymore. It could be attachment, a phenomenon where an entity fixates on a person rather than a place. And attachments, according to paranormal researchers, rarely fade on their own. It's hard to walk away from something like this without answers, but Simone isn't ready to stop investigating until she understands what's happening. Now, this strange video was posted on December 27th, 2025 by a veterinary hospital in Madison, Alabama. But what makes it even more unsettling is that the footage itself had reportedly been kept private for nearly 4 years. According to the clinic's owner, Renee, something happened that night that caused all employees on shift to stop what they were doing. Have a look.
That's weird. Where is that coming from? It's all something's coming from. Okay, so you still want to do banana bags, 15 mils an hour, head of starch, 4 mils an hour. It's coming from over this way. Alright. Medication, metronidazole, 15 mils BID, IV. Wait, is it Scarlet? Clipped off. Wait. I clipped it off before getting meds. Is my drop it off up there? That's coming from up there. They may have done that when they switched the bag. Is it the new bag for you? No. Alright, who's making it? Help me. It's in the lobby. It's coming from the lobby. No, it's not. Where is that? It's not in here. What is that? What, phantom dogs? think she got me.
Is it Dakota?
No! Look at come over here. Look at the front porch. If she made a dump one or throw one in the bin outside or something. I didn't hear anything. You're not hearing that. Maria has heard it. I didn't hear it, no. You heard it, right? I heard it. I didn't hear it. It sounds like it's coming from this side. You can't hear it at ISO though, right? No. Look at that fence out there. Make sure somebody throw one in the fence. I heard nothing. I was like, what are y'all talking about? Yeah, that's a brand new thing. That's talking to us. Yeah. Did you hear it? I haven't heard it. I still haven't heard it. All three of us heard it. And it was coming from that. It sounded like it was in that room or something. Like it sounded like it was like right playing the board. We're gonna play that back. I didn't even hear anything. Can you play it like specifically in those rooms or anything?
After reviewing the footage, Renee says there was no logical explanation for what they witnessed. And this wasn't an isolated event. Over time, strange activity became almost routine inside the clinic. Dog kennels securely latched would open on their own in the middle of the night. Office supplies and lightweight equipment were found scattered across rooms that had been locked. Staff members reported hearing scratching sounds coming from empty runs long after the last patient had gone home. Sometimes motion sensors would trigger in rooms where no animal was being treated. For a veterinary hospital, that detail hits differently. Because this isn't just any building, it's a place filled with heightened emotion, fear, grief, relief, heartbreak. It's where some families say goodbye to beloved pets, and many pet owners will tell you that after their animal passes, they still hear the faint scratch at the door, still feel the weight at the foot of the bed, still think they see a quick shadow dart past in the hallway. Some believe animals, especially loyal ones, linger, and that's the theory whispered among staff, that perhaps some of the dogs who passed away in that clinic never fully left, that the scratching isn't imagination, and that the kennel's opening isn't mechanical failure. So what do you think? Is it residual energy, emotional imprints replaying themselves, or something else using the setting to its advantage? Renee says she doesn't know what's in her clinic, but she's no longer convinced it's empty after closing time. The following clip is about a man named Nick, who manages a yogurt store and for a long time dismissed the strange stories his staff kept telling him. Employees had complained about lights flickering, objects shifting when no one was nearby, and an uneasy feeling that only seemed to happen during closing hours. At first, Nick assumed there had to be logical explanations, faulty wiring, building issues, or simple human error. But eventually, he experienced the same thing. Watch.
Okay, I'm literally at work right now. I'm alone. That's my car. There is not one other car in the parking lot. Look, the freaking light's flickering from the reflection in the window. I don't know what's going on. I'm here alone, and this is what I deal with that I usually don't catch on camera. This is the light switch. Ready? This? Oh, I think I stopped it. Did I stop it? No, I didn't. I didn't stop it. I don't know what's going on, and this makes absolutely no sense. And now it stopped. Good. And ready? Here we go. Because that makes sense, right? This is what I deal with, and no one understands. And of course I'm here alone, and this is like a friggin' murder house. This is my security cameras. There's no one here, so I don't understand. Oh my god, Jesus Christ. Hello?
At first glance, many people assumed it was nothing more than electrical problems. After all, flickering lights in older buildings aren't uncommon, but power shortages don't explain everything, because moments later, a chair suddenly falls over on its own in the attic. Nick later revealed something even more unsettling. Before he started recording, he heard what sounded like a girl singing somewhere inside the building, and according to him, this wasn't the first time. Several employees had mentioned hearing the same thing, soft singing late at night, always when the store was nearly empty. There was also another detail that people couldn't ignore. The neighboring store right next to them had recently gone out of business. The space had been empty ever since. Dark, silent, unused, and yet some began to wonder if whatever energy lingered there had simply moved next door. At this point, people were curious, but not fully convinced. Many chose to wait for more evidence, and then it happened again. One evening, as Nick and his staff were preparing to leave, thinking the night had been quiet, the camera captured something else.
Okay guys, we were literally just about to leave my store when shit just started flickering again. This is the second time it's happened. My car's over there, and...
I'm shaking right now.
Okay, and her keys are in the fucking back.
We need to go. We need to go get my keys.
And the light turned on.
I don't want to go.
Okay, well, I'm gonna literally record this whole thing just so you guys can see what happened. I'm literally so scared. Okay, okay, something... The bathroom light's on too.
What's this like? Bro, why are my keys on the floor? They were not there. Like, I deadass put them on the desk. Like, oh my god.
This is literally insane.
If you look closely, a topping lid suddenly flies off the counter, like something physically knocked it away. And almost immediately after that, the lights they had just turned off began flickering again, as if something inside the darkness was moving through the store. This was the moment people stopped blaming electricity. Because faulty wiring can cause flickering, but it can't remove lids, it can't target objects, and it certainly can't create the feeling that something is active only when the building is empty. That detail became especially disturbing, the fact that all of this only ever happened at night. Some viewers began speculating that it could be what paranormal researchers call a residual spirit, energy left behind by someone who once spent a lot of time in that place. Residual hauntings often repeat certain behaviors, moving through familiar areas, making familiar sounds, sometimes even singing. Others believed it might be something more aware. And then came the moment that disturbed people the most. One night, while Nick was inside recording again, something happened that was impossible to ignore. Watch.
Okay guys, we've been sitting in the back for like 20 minutes now, and we're just watching the cameras and stuff is still flickering and going on, but nothing happened back here, and we need to go home, and this is so freaking terrifying.
We're 50 minutes past our shift because of this shit.
We closed at 10, so we need to like, it's so dark because all the light switches are over here.
Stop it, go, go.
Okay, this is what I mean. This room is over. This is.
Oh my god.
This is what we're dealing with.
Oh my god, yo, what the. Bro, Nick, did you do this on purpose?
I-
Did you fake this? No, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, Nick.
Stop! You're literally. Are you?
No, wait, no. Nah.
No. We literally looked away for like 2 seconds.
From the darkness, something is suddenly thrown in his direction, like something didn't want him there. Nick and his staff quickly left, shaken and trying to process what just happened. But seconds later, when they looked back, they saw the lights moving inside again. Some believe this could be what's known as a poltergeist, an entity known not just for appearing, but for interacting physically with the environment. Poltergeists are often associated with thrown objects, sudden movement, and escalating aggression. Unlike residual energy, they don't simply replay the past, they react, and sometimes they target. Others believe it could be something attached to the building itself, especially considering the abandoned store next door. Paranormal investigators often warn that empty spaces can sometimes become vessels, places where energy gathers without interruption. And then there's the singing, because one of the most unsettling signs reported in hauntings is disembodied singing. Familiar and human, but with no visible source. Many believe this is a way entities announce their presence, not loudly but subtly, but enough to be noticed and enough to be remembered. Until more updates are given, all anyone can do is speculate. But if you were standing there alone, hearing singing in an empty store, and watching things move on their own, what would you say you're dealing with? In this next video, a woman is in the middle of a live session, calmly recording herself and interacting with her audience, when something deeply unsettling appears behind her. Take a look.
Hi guys, today I want to tell you about
Despacito.
Okay, so what was that?
I'm scared.
At first, nothing seems out of the ordinary. But then, for a brief moment, the outline of what appears to be a man becomes visible in the mirror. Moments later, she steps out to check the area, but there's no one there. Nothing that explains who or what was reflected. Shortly after she returns, her door slowly opens on its own. Some viewers believe this points to a possible intruder or even a stalker, someone who may have been inside the home without her knowledge, staying quiet and out of sight. And honestly, that explanation carries its own kind of fear. The idea that someone could enter and leave without being noticed is deeply disturbing, but others question the way the door opens. There's no visible force behind it, just a slow, steady movement that doesn't seem tied to anyone physically present. Either way, both explanations leave the same unsettling question. Was someone in her home that night, or was it something else? In this next video, a well-known Turkish paranormal content creator who specializes in found footage style investigations travels deep into the Turkish countryside to a village long rumored to be inhabited by jinn. These abandoned settlements, known locally as Turkadilmiş Koylar, are often avoided entirely, their silence carrying stories no one wants to verify firsthand. His first stop is an abandoned house at the edge of the village. Normally, his investigations begin quietly. Minutes pass with nothing but the sound of wind and his own footsteps. But this place feels different from the start. Only seconds after stepping inside, something suddenly tries to attack him.
Ha! Buradan uçtu valla.
The object narrowly misses him, and at that moment, he and his friend immediately realize they're dealing with something far more active than expected. They leave the house quickly because whatever threw that object didn't miss by accident. And there's no guarantee the next one would, but their investigation is only beginning. They soon arrive at another location deeper within the village, a place known as Sin Ovasa, the Plain of Jinn. Even the name carries a warning. As he scans the ground with his flashlight, something unusual catches his attention. Lying in the dirt is a small wooden structure, a talisman.
Burada o. Ağaçtan geldi. Bu ağaçtan geldi. Gördünüz mü arkadaşlar?
It appears to have been thrown from the direction of a nearby tree. In Turkish folk magic, objects like this are often referred to as a muska or talisman. They are believed to serve as anchors, either to bind a curse to a location or to trap a jinn in a specific place. They are usually buried carefully, hidden from sight, because disturbing or removing them is said to release whatever they were meant to contain. As they move closer to investigate, a strange voice suddenly breaks the silence. Neither of them can identify where it's coming from, but it's close enough to send them running. After putting some distance between themselves and the tree, they stop and shine their flashlight back toward the spot where they heard the sound. And that's when they see it. A figure standing motionless in the darkness, watching them. They didn't stay long enough to find out what it was, but before leaving the village entirely, they decided to investigate one final abandoned house. Except, this house didn't feel abandoned.
Oradan mı geliyor? Orada. İnsan kıran insan. İnsan, evet. İnsan. Hadi insan delidir. İnsan normal bir insan. İnsandır. İnsan gibiydi. Onu gördüm. Tam kapıdaydı Sinan. Tam kapıdaydı.
As they slowly move through the rooms, their flashlight catches something disturbing. A hand that appears briefly from behind a door. It looks human, solid, and real. But when they entered, no one was there. No open doors, no broken windows, and no possible exit. Whoever or whatever they saw had nowhere to go, and somehow it vanished anyway. To this day, what they encountered inside that house remains a mystery.